In the mid-19th century, the Navajo people were forced to endure one of the darkest chapters in their history. Known as the Navajo Long Walk, this tragic journey was a story of displacement, survival, and resilience in the face of unimaginable hardship.
Welcome to History Corner.
The conflict between the Navajo people and the United States government began in the early 1860s. As settlers moved westward, tensions escalated over land, livestock, and resources. The U.S. government sought to control the region, leading to violent clashes. In response, the government launched a campaign to remove the Navajo from their ancestral lands. This campaign aimed to force the Navajo to relocate to a reservation hundreds of miles away. It was a brutal tactic that left many Navajo people starving and desperate. In the summer of 1863, Colonel Kit Carson led the U.S. Army into Navajo territory, implemented a scorched earth campaign against the Navajo, designed to break their resistance. The Army targeted crops, livestock, and homes, leaving the Navajo with little means to sustain themselves. Carson's strategy was brutal. He burned fields, poisoned water sources, and slaughtered the Navajo's sheep and cattle, key resources that sustained the people. This scorched earth approach forced the Navajo into submission, and by the end of the year, they had little choice but to surrender or face total destruction. The U.S. Army began the process of rounding up thousands of Navajo men, women, and children. They were forced into camps under armed guard, where they endured harsh conditions before being marched away from their homes. In the winter of 1864, thousands of Navajo men, women, and children were made to march hundreds of miles to Bosque Redondo, a desolate military reservation in New Mexico. The march was more than 300 miles and lasted several months, and the journey became known as the Long Walk. With limited food and water, the journey was grueling. Along the way, the sick, the elderly, and the young were often left behind or died from exhaustion and exposure. Those who couldn't keep up were left behind or killed by soldiers. Estimates suggest that around 200 Navajo died along the way, victims of disease, starvation, and the harsh desert environment. At Bosque Redondo the land was barren, water was scarce, and the Navajo struggled to grow crops in the harsh environment. Living conditions at Bosque Redondo were deplorable. The Navajo, accustomed to a semi-nomadic lifestyle in the vast open spaces of the Southwest, were now confined to a small, overcrowded reservation. The U.S. government promised food and supplies, but they were scarce and often spoiled. Disease spread rapidly in the crowded conditions, with smallpox, influenza, and tuberculosis claiming lives. It is generally believed that at least 2,000 Navajo people perished during their time at the reservation. Despite these hardships, the Navajo held onto their culture and spirituality, though their traditions were threatened by forced assimilation policies. Elders continued to pass down stories, and ceremonies were held, but the trauma of displacement lingered. The emotional and psychological toll was immeasurable, with families mourning the deaths of loved ones lost both on the Long Walk and in Bosque Redondo. By 1868, it was clear that the Bosque Redondo experiment was a failure. Navajo leaders negotiated a treaty with the U.S. government, allowing them to return to their ancestral lands. The Navajo became one of the few Native American tribes allowed to return home, marking a significant victory in their struggle for survival and sovereignty. The Navajo Long Walk tragedy was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The Navajo people suffered unimaginable hardship and emerged stronger, ensuring their culture and traditions would endure for generations to come. Today, the Navajo Nation endures, preserving its language, traditions, and sovereignty. The legacy of the Long Walk serves as a reminder of the hardships and the strength of a people who refuse to be broken. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from history. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you next time.